What if every single human vanished? Right now, no warnings, no goodbyes. Just gone. Cities would stand silent. Planes would fall from the sky. Streets once filled with cars and voices would echo only with wind. But what would Earth look like in 1,000 years without us? Let's journey into the future step by step to see how our world transforms once humanity disappears. Within hours of our disappearance, chaos would erupt. Planes mid-flight would lose their pilots and crash. Cars still running would slam into barriers or grind to a halt. Power plants would begin shutting down without human operators, and for the first time in centuries, Earth would hear silence. A silence so deep, it would be terrifying. Within a week, the lights of Earth would go out. Coal plants and gas stations would run dry, nuclear power stations would scram themselves into shutdown, and the dazzling glow of cities would vanish into darkness. But underground, subway systems would begin flooding as pumps shut down, and in rural areas, wild animals would cautiously begin returning. After a single year, our absence would be obvious. Pavements would crack as weeds forced their way through. Rats, once kept in check by humans, would explode in number before predators like foxes and snakes followed. Pets left alone would either perish or evolve quickly. Dogs forming wild packs, cats turning fully feral. The cities would feel alive, but with nature, not people. A decade without humans and the world would look strange. Roofs would collapse under weather. Windows would shatter. Streets would be overrun with trees and grass. Coyotes would roam New York. Bears in Moscow and lions in abandoned African towns. The human-built world would already be losing the battle against nature. "50 years later, iconic skyscrapers would begin collapsing, steel would corrode, glass would fall in shards, entire skylines would crumble into broken teeth jutting from forests. Roads and highways would be invisible under greenery, and deserts like the Sahara would swallow entire towns in sand. In just a century, some of humanity's greatest symbols would fade. The Eiffel Tower, rusted and broken, would collapse. The Statue of Liberty would erode until only fragments remained. Concrete would crumble, bridges would fall, and the last remains of our monuments would be ghosts among the trees. By 2 centuries, nature would have buried our world. Only stone buildings like the pyramids or Mount Rushmore might still stand, though worn and cracked. Entire cities would be forests. Rivers would have carved through suburbs, and mountain goats might climb where office workers once stood. Half a millennium later, Earth would barely recognize our existence. Oceans would rise and swallow coastlines, with coral reefs growing over drowned skyscrapers. Whole regions like Florida, Bangladesh, and parts of Europe would vanish under the waves. The planet would have reshaped itself, free of our interference. A 1,000 years later, Earth would look more like it did before humans ever rose. Forests would cover continents. Ice might return to regions we once melted. Megafauna could evolve again. Giant mammals roaming freely. Apex predators reclaiming dominance. Our cities, highways, and monuments. Dust and shadows in the soil. But above Earth, reminders of us would linger. Satellites would fall from orbit over centuries, burning up in the atmosphere. Space junk would rain down until the sky was clear again. Our radio signals, though faint, would still travel outward, spreading whispers of humanity to the stars long after we were gone. On Earth itself, new rulers would emerge. Wolves might dominate Europe, elephants could spread across Asia, and oceans would teem with whales once free of hunting. Birds might evolve new forms, and rodents, adaptable as ever, could become the next great evolutionary winners. But not all signs of us would vanish. Plastic would remain in the soil. Nuclear waste would still be dangerous. Some of our space probes, drifting silently beyond the solar system, would carry our story. Yet on Earth itself, only fragments like the pyramids or Mount Rushmore might whisper that humans once ruled here. So if humans disappeared, Earth wouldn't mourn us. It would thrive. In just 1,000 years, it would heal almost completely, leaving behind only faint traces of our existence. And maybe that's the most haunting thought. The world doesn't need us. But we desperately need the world. If this glimpse into Earth's future shook you, hit that like button. Subscribe for more what-if explorations. And tell us in the comments, how long do you think humans really have left?